So I would think you'd never sell any Tesla, but people go crazy when you're on with the Twitterati are bonkers. Anyway, a lot there's both positive and negative people that follow, and some are always talking about you selling a third of your position or selling this, selling that. Why would you ever sell any, and have you sold any?
So, yes. We can only buy up to 10% in our portfolios.
So it's for how much
it is still 10% of our portfolios.
You're going to keep it as much as you can buy. You're going to keep it, and when you sell, that's the reason.
That's the primary reason we sell. Primary, there are times if it's up 50% within a few days.
Well, if it's going to 7,000, you should never sell.
I'm a portfolio manager. Something else is down 20%. Tesla's up 50%. I am going to make those sorts of moves.
What up, investors? So you just saw Kathy Woods, which is the CEO of ARK Investment, and they are probably the biggest bull you've probably seen on CNBC, on Twitter, and a lot of people talking about what the company, the portfolio recently did. And the last fourth quarter, they're selling about 350, 400. What was it? They sold, 700-ish. 700,000 shares of the stock. Disclosed the ownership of 700, 900, and So you can see here that they sold off nearly 38.43% in the fourth quarter. And then the clip you saw that the CEO for that was saying that this is a portfolio move. We've made so much money in the stock, we need to trim it. We bought it way back here in the 180s and we sold it before the quarter up here. The allocation for the portfolio is only allowed 10, at most 12 or 13%. But we worry. She didn't say, the one thing that bothers me the most is she's saying that she wants to wait for the opportunity when things break apart, or something that she understands that she's been in the business for such a long time that something is gonna, the wagon is not gonna be running 100%. The wagon wheel is gonna come loose slightly. The wheel's gonna fall off and it's gonna go in a ditch. And what she's saying, again, actions speak louder than words, is her and the ARK Investment Group will be buying it once they can get cheaper prices. Since its enormous run basically from October, let's do a quick line here, to this, we'll just do the close of today. It's been up $662 or 263, just call it 264%. So that's quite substantial. That is a lot of money. And anyone, if you're not Ron Barron, you're going to be the one who is selling it on the way up. And they are a portfolio management company, so they are investing then, but also trading, because in our own words, if the stock is up more than 50% in 2 weeks, I have to sell. That's just my due diligence to the investor and to my stakeholders and shareholders. I just have to do that. That being said, my honest opinion is, that's great that they are making all this money, and I just want them to be a little bit more transparent on, you can't just go on CNBC and say Tesla 7,000, Tesla 15,000 in 5 years. Maybe we should put a caveat in there, maybe a bullet point or an asterisk or something to say hey, these are our price targets this year. Let's say if it reaches $1,000, we're going to trim off 20%, 25%. But we will be buying if it dips below X amount of price. I know they don't have to say that, but I'm just saying it's sort of a gray area on when someone comes on to a big station or a big media and allows to speak and not kind of, I want to say lie, but kind of bolster up their book, which I if you know anything about me, this is totally what happens for a lot of people. CNBC people go on CNBC and say the different opinion. Look at Andrew Left. He goes in, poops on a company, talks about it, and or shorts it. Talks about it, gets the drop, and then sells out. let's be honest, like this is part of the game. But I think there's just so much more within the Tesla story of just the amount of momentum, amount of push through that we've seen here in the last couple months. It's just astronomical of the sense of the scale of how this company is impacting different various things. And sometimes I think people are kind of overlooking of like what's actually going on here. Like this stock has just been pumped up, and not a back of a pump and dump, but it's just been pumped up, inflated to the point of these investors that come on CNBC, to people on Wall Street Bets, to people on Twitter, to other people on Reddit, and a lot of Wall Street Bets. You know what I'm talking about, boys. That something, again, like Kathy, the ARK Investment CEO, said, something is going to happen and this stock will come down at cheaper prices. Yeah, their price target is 7,000 in 5 years, which I hope, okay. I don't know how you can do that, but okay. That's if everything hits 100% or 120s in some cases. It's very difficult to throw out those numbers and kind of just go blah about it. So you kind of have to educate the individuals who don't understand what portfolio management is and say like, hey, it doesn't mean that we're buying 1 million shares tomorrow and then holding it until 5 years exactly, and that's going to be $7,000. Portfolio management means we're going to be adding, trimming, and going back and forth, and just having the understanding to let the retail investors, mostly who are in this stock, have a better understanding of rather just seeing the interviews that you do and showing that the Tesla's going 7,000 and you're a biggest bull behind it and you're pushing it. But you're selling it, and it just kind of doesn't give off the great vibe. I understand that you have a portfolio and so forth, like things like that, but just be a little more transparent on that. That would be fantastic. All right, we can dive into some technical analysis here on Tesla. Again, closing out basically a little over $900 on yesterday on Friday. Again, that's high of being $968. We're $70 or $67 from that today. Can we get up there again? Yeah, for sure. This is still showing very strong signs of momentum. On the top end, it's getting a little... the momentum's changing in the sense of like the RSI down here is not showing as overbought, as extremely overbought how it has been. So I could see this trading sideways just for a little bit, and then potentially having a lot more momentum kick in. The overall, I've been adding this a lot more to my analysis. The MACD, the blue line's the top of the white line, and it looks like the blue line's about to cross it just ever so slightly on the daily chart. Or this is the 4-hour chart. I've been using this as well. Once this crosses, it could get a sign of just trading sideways. If it crosses like at a steep angle like this, that's usually a sign that it can drop. And in Tesla's case, it could drop hundreds of points in a day. But that being said, I think a lot of people are just sitting back and waiting for Tesla's battery day, which hasn't been disclosed yet. Elon Musk has said it's going to be some wizardry. That's just his words. We'll insert the clip here.
They're obviously outsourcing the cells, but even outsourcing the modules and the packs. Yeah. You know, and it's like they're really not thinking about fundamental chemistry improvements, and there's some pretty deep wizardry at Tesla on this front. I don't know.
Yeah, so that being said, the overall look at Tesla, again, like, I'm not going to be saying it's going to be $7,000, but the runway looks good in the sense of if everything else goes right. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the economy right now in the sense of a lot of other countries not doing great. China's basically on lockdown due to the coronavirus, and people are a little bit fearful. So we did have kind of a market sell-off today, which you can kind of see here. We're going to do just at SPY. It kind of came down to the average here, the middle here of these deviations, which is if this closed below it, I would be a little bit more bearish, but this is somewhat normal, but hopefully this doesn't continue into next week. Basically this line, the red trend line here, is my support. If it breaks through that, I am definitely got to be bearish and start trimming a lot of portfolio assets. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please leave it down below. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.